Welcome back to Conversations with Creatives. My name is Zach. We are here with Cody, TraffikHeavy. This is episode 3. We are in this really cool garage. Got a cool Porsche race car behind us,
Really
which
cool
is
Porsche
pretty
race
sick
car
backdrop.
behind us.
Right? No, I wasn't expecting this. This is pretty sweet. But yeah, so this is a show where we sit down with creatives, get deep into their work, their ethos, and just the backstories of the stuff that they create and put out some amazing content that you guys enjoy online. So, and I would say you, just to start off, are amazing at shareable content. Like a lot of your reels, you just look at ratio of likes to shares, and just like your content is very much geared towards like becoming viral naturally. Because it's people reaching out to each other. What kind of, because I noticed on your page, there's a big shift from not that to like going heavy into like that kind of style of content.
Right.
What was that kind of shift that made you just start going into that?
I think just realizing what I was in social media for. I think initially it was like to show off my car. I had an RS7. You saw
Love
it back
that
in the
thing.
day. It was a fun car, and I was kind of geared towards I want to make like one of my influencers was Braden, South Valley Photo.
Yeah, he's
you know?
awesome.
And he had like 5,000 followers when I met him. And then he got like 10,000 followers. I'm just like, dude, that's so dope. And
Right.
there's the bigger names or whatever out there, but he was an influence to me. And then Sean Has Jokes. I don't know if you know him, but he's a 7-foot guy, and he used to live here in Utah and be in the car community and helped me establish my Audi meets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like, I just want to broaden my page and see how do you get into like the monetization of social media and such, and go down that path. So once I got to about 10,000 followers, I got a blue check mark. And
Was that before you had to pay for it, or?
no,
Like,
it was right when they opened it up to pay for it. But
Okay.
here's the thing: is they said, hey, if you have this blue check mark and 10,000 followers, from the research that I went through, paid for or not, you're gonna be boosted into the algorithm essentially, because you're buying into what we're selling right now. Is kind of what it was.
100%.
So I was like, cool, I'll buy into that. But the benefit of the blue check mark, purchased or not, is that you have a customer service hotline. So if your page gets hijacked from you, you have a team to work with. If perhaps you can't remember your login information, you have a team to work with, et cetera, and it's a live person on the other side that's talking to you. So that's beneficial to have that.
Especially when you get larger. Like your page is going to get a bit more targeted on people wanting to take it from you.
Yeah, I probably get once a week or every other week or so, about 1 or 2 times that I get my password saying it says, it's been logged into elsewhere. And it's like
how?
Constantly. But anyway, so yeah, once I understood what I was in for, I decided, I'm in for views, and views is what Instagram is geared towards, and promoting themselves internally without actually spending any money on marketing.
Right.
They do it because I'm getting content out there that's shareable.
Yeah.
So
you're keeping people on the app.
The shareable niche started coming to life, and I'm like, how do I do it? And I started doing some research by watching their type of reels that I was interested in, and more like love story type stuff.
The ones that you were probably sending to your loved ones.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to send this to my girlfriend, who else would probably send this to their girlfriend?
Right.
And then I started realizing a little bit that it's not about the girlfriend, it's about everybody. And so I switched send this to her to send this to them.
Right. I started seeing a lot more of like your friend ones, like send this to your friend that you want to do this with, like get everybody around.
Spectrum. Yeah. Because it's not all about one individual, it's about everybody. And so when I create something, it's trying to have that in mind as to how do I captivate everybody and not just one source of the population.
Right. Yeah. Because like you have your niche of the shareable content, and like that's a niche itself, but it's a niche that you can give to everybody, which is almost like a perfect.
So I'm giving all the tips here. I'm giving all the tips. If you guys want to start your own social media and blow up, you heard everything right there. That's it. That's the goal.
Yeah. What's just for people to know, it might vary from creator to creator, but what does Instagram pay like? Is it a per 1,000 view kind of thing like YouTube is? This one, like on my content, YouTube's about $7 to $8 per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Is Instagram a little bit different?
I haven't quite yet monetized on YouTube. I have on TikTok, for example, and I know TikTok says like per 1,000 views or something, and it pays you a denomination.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, they're actually really hush-hush as to how you're actually making your money, technically. So it says that things can change. It says it's in a test phase. It says it's a bonus program, but it doesn't technically say how you get paid.
Doesn't break
But
it down.
through experience now, it's like the videos that hit 1 million views, you can actually go and you can see what the pay is on something like that, and you can kind of correlate at that point that,
Okay.
if you're getting 1 million views, you're about to make X denomination.
Pretty good. Yeah. You can surmise how much, like, per thousand or whatever that comes with that.
So
Okay. Yeah, I know my friends that post on Facebook, which obviously is the same
trying to
product.
be monetized
They
on Facebook.
they do get pretty dang good payouts from Facebook.
That's
like,
what I heard.
just a couple reels. Like my friend Jacob on Facebook, he gets like 500 a month almost, and he just posts
Yeah.
like a reel like every other day or something. Like, not
The thing
much.
about Facebook is I didn't dabble into it. I thought it was kind of the older generation, family oriented. But I have the traffic heavy kind of business extension of my Facebook and such, and it's so easy to just say share content when you're sharing it on Instagram to my Facebook page.
Right.
And that in itself, it took a lot of time. I'd say almost 8 months of doing that, getting maybe 200 or 300 views, to the point now I'm getting videos on Facebook as well at millions of views.
I'm kind of surprised the monetization isn't tied
It's not
per platform,
but
because it's all the same.
it's all metaverse.
parent company. Because if you can share across both, because I know Facebook was picky if you posted that same content on other platforms.
That's right.
You're not allowed to monetize it or something weird like that.
And that's kind of how it seemed, is because I was posting it on Instagram. It didn't seem like it was the niche for Facebook when it was going over there initially. But over time, it's kind of the following base. And that's the thing. There's billions of people in this world, and 10 billion that are subscribed to each of these platforms, each of them, right? And so they're out there. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And I know it took me forever to get monetized on YouTube. That's actually the only platform I monetize on now.
Lucky.
And it took a while. It took about 2
That's a cool
years
one.
to get
Nice.
to that point. It's that 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, which is so hard to hit on when you're doing like real
Yeah.
focus, because you have to hit that 10 million
Yep.
like view mark, and
That's where I just started focusing.
and you just have to get lucky with that one almost.
Yeah.
Like it took me. I was posting on there for about 8 months when I first started doing reels, and I was posting like every day, getting a couple hundred views each time. And then I have this friend Bree, who's a motorcycle influencer.
Oh, okay.
Bree rides, and
Bree
she would
rides.
only post on Instagram, and she has a big Instagram following. She had like 120,000 followers at that point.
Really?
And
Wow,
I
that's
kept
a lot.
telling her, like, take the reel that you make and just put on YouTube. Like,
Right.
don't do any extra work. Literally just
Make
upload it
it
to
a
YouTube.
little bit.
And she didn't want to do it for the longest time. I was like, just do it. And so she uploaded 3, and by her third one, I think her third one got 11 million views.
Holy.
And then her fourth one got like 8 million views, and then she
That's-
got monetized right away. And now her YouTube like pays her car payment and her rent, like
Yeah,
part of her
that's
rent.
cool.
I'm like, you're welcome, but it's just so lucky, and you never know what will hit.
Right.
Because the third video that got that many views was like some guy's hat flew off when they were driving motorcycles, and she picked it up and handed it to him. That's literally the video.
That's it, huh?
That's it. And that got her 11 million views. And she has like 70,000 subscribers now too.
Waiting on my moment there, but
Right? Same. I'm still up too.
I started YouTube really aggressively in like September, October,
Mhm.
and then I gave up again, and then I just started again middle of December, end of December, and I found that my traffic heavy YouTube is actually focused on monster truck shorts.
Okay.
It's I mean if it's still like it's in the car, realm and such,
Right.
big trucks, cool loud noises, all that.
Sure.
And the whole like thought of like traffic heavy, just trying to find your escape and your passion in life, as well as, realizing that while you're on that destiny to find what you're looking for, there's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be full of traffic and such, but
Yeah.
traffic jams open roads eventually. And,
Right.
so that's kind of what the brand's all about. But back to the YouTube, my shorts are now getting like, I post one that's like 3,000 views in a couple of days. And I'm just like, it was 400 views, 400,
Mm-hmm.
2,000 views, now it's getting up there. And I'm just like, oh, it's only a matter of time. I keep doing
Yeah.
this consistently, but these same followers. But I went up like 700 followers over the past 28 days.
Yeah, no, the
Just
reels
doing that.
can really, especially when you get those couple thousand
Yeah.
each, they start stacking up followers a bit. Like, it's weird. Mine come in waves. Like, I'll get up to like 15,000 views on my YouTube Shorts,
Uh-huh.
and then it'll drop back down to like a couple hundred, and then it'll go up to 1,000, and then back down, and it kind of
Yeah.
this way. So I'm in my low wave right
Yeah,
now,
that's
getting
out.
about 500-600 views,
That's
and then I'll probably in a couple days
you'll
post
get it up there.
stuff. Yeah, but the one that does really well there is TikTok filter content. So I'll
Really?
make like a car filter thing, like a random car generator or whatever, and be like, which one would I keep? Which one would I sell? Like just mindless content like that. And then I just save the video from TikTok and just put it on YouTube. And that's actually what's done the best,
Really?
surprisingly.
Huh.
And then but then obviously, I'm not sure if you've noticed this too, the work that I put a ton of time in and spend hours editing and stuff, I'll post it and that gets the lowest.
Gets the lowest. And
it's so weird.
It's proof that the algorithm is tailored. The algorithm is not specific.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing that I think people want is the magic code to the algorithm.
Right.
And it's like there isn't one, and they won't ever tell you one because there really isn't one. It's literally built to say, who are you? And let me tailor stuff to you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So we'll never open up our phones at the same time or at different times and get the same, unless it's really like a 99 million view. We might see the same thing when we open our phones in that one instance, but those don't happen often, right?
And it might just be because we follow the same person and it's not an actual like random.
So there's those few instances, but aside of those, realistically, like that is what it is. The algorithm is tailored to each individual. And so with that in mind, what works for you might not work for me, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And that's what's crazy about it. And so what I noticed is somebody like you or I spend some time after we've uploaded maybe some iPhone videos or maybe just photos only, and then we try something different. And it's like, oh, you got like 3,000 likes on your last photo. You got 200 views on this reel. And you spent how many hours editing? Yeah.
And even just, well, like most of my reels got like 2,000 views maybe around that. And one that I spent probably 30 seconds editing today, I just posted and it's at like 6,000 views in the last like couple hours. And it's literally like, but the one I posted before then, I took about 30 minutes editing, cutting, adding stuff, and that one has like 2,000 views.
Okay.
So it never.
Same, right? We can relate in this, but let's just throw somebody like Shok on visuals.
Yeah.
And I know he's uploaded iPhone type material, but he's an editor, and everything that he uploads is edited. Everything that he uploads edited works.
Yeah, because that's what they expect from,
and that's what
they're going to push it to people that want the high quality.
You and I, we would spend some time, we'd edit, we'd post, we'd edit, we'd post, we'd edit that, and the algorithm would start tailoring itself to us, and that's the ease of the algorithm, but it's the work to get there, because it's not gonna. How many couple of years it took you for YouTube even?
About 2 years to get monetized on there.
3.5 on Instagram. It takes time and efforts and focus, and if you're not dedicated,
but the growth is exponential too. Like, well, even just this year, I've grown probably by almost 100% on Instagram.
Okay.
Because I was stuck at like 3,000 followers for almost, I think, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then I got lucky with one photo post that popped off, and that kind of got me over the hump.
That's what.
And now I'm getting close to 6,000 within the last year, and so I've almost doubled. And so it's kind of an exponential.
That's awesome.
Thing. The cheat code actually I found Porsche content. I was even just one of my clients that I just flew to California to shoot with.
Yeah.
I shot with his Huracan and his Porsche, and we posted his Huracan, and it got like 300 likes, and then we just pushed his Porsche, and it was like 800. And he's like, "Why does the Porsche's?" Every single one of my posts on my page that has over 1,000 likes is a Porsche.
Porsche. Okay. So I like hearing that. And so that's something else that I like is, you found your niche and you're starting to find a way to pay for your living and lifestyle off doing that. You work.
Yeah. Now I have a day job.
Okay.
Become a day job too.
Fair, but that's the goal, right? Is let's see how
eventually
we can get away from that. And do but you just traveled to go do a photo. It's crazy.
And my biggest post was, my second biggest one actually was flying out to Canada. I had a client fly me to Canada to Banff to shoot his RWB.
Jeez.
Yeah, specifically wide body RWB Porsches just pop off.
Okay.
For some reason.
So did you go to the build out in Tooele?
I didn't get a chance. They did during the week. And I live in Idaho.
Okay.
So it's like coming down for it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I just spent all my time off traveling to Canada to do the photo shoot so I couldn't. That's the pain of having still a day job.
I mean, that was, I didn't make it out either. So I'm not like speaking but from all the photos and such that I saw, that was kind of
so cool
experience for people to go.
But I am setting up a shoot with the owner of the RWB to shoot it. But it didn't have a motor in it when he got it built. He was still getting the motor built for it. So We're just waiting. And then he sent it off to SEMA with no motor in it. So now we're coupling it together.
Met him, I want to say a couple years ago, and really, really cool, chill guy. And he always talked. I got the RWV build coming.
Yep.
And
So you have
launched
to wait
it,
like
did
3
it,
years.
and
Dude.
dope.
Yeah.
Such a phenomenal build.
Oh, it's
Cool
cool.
colors.
Yep.
What is it? The turtle van that he has with it as well.
Oh, I don't know what's the car actually.
It's not the car. It's like
The
I think his feature with the car is like he has this RV.
oh, sick.
He
Okay.
calls like the turtle or something, turtle
That's
van or something. I don't know. Anyway,
So I kind of want to get into the backstory of TraffikHeavy because I think the craziest thing, and it's one thing that you talk about on your website too, is that like you literally have died, and was kind of like a little bit of an ethos that like brought you back, and then like kind of started you on this journey of wanting to kind of help
Yeah.
people live their life to the fullest.
I think there was so much that I had an opportunity to experience in life that I started connecting with people.
Yeah.
It started, when I was young, I was talented and 2 limbs working just fine. We'll explain that in just a second. But things were good. I think I was a good kid where I was kind of a role model-ish, but I was definitely like shy, reserved.
Like you were leader-ish, but still like reserved.
Yeah.
People
yeah.
look to you because I could trust you.
Yeah. Good kids. Great grades were great. But I ended up getting in a car accident at about the age of 18, where on the freeway, the car ended up rolling. A single car just spun out of control, rolling, and I got ejected out of the vehicle and ended up injuring my arm. I was athletic, so that was kind of depressing. But apparently, when they picked me up on the life flight helicopter on the way in, I just flatlined there for a sec, and it
Do
was
you remember any of that experience at all? Probably not.
probably fortunately not,
Okay.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I don't remember it, and I feel like I have these minor flashbacks, maybe of the way things were told to me back then or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe those, to be honest. But it's a blur, and I feel fortunate for that, because it was a tough time in my life, and years later I'd gone through depression over it and heartache. I had a passenger who passed away, and that was really hard on me at that age,
Right.
to take responsibility for. And
Yeah.
because I was paralyzed then and lost kind of hope for basketball and other things and all those.
Was paralyzed like
things.
single limb or was it?
Single limb. Yeah, it was from my shoulder down on my right
Are
side.
you right-handed?
And I was
Is that-
right-handed,
yeah.
mind you. So
I can see how that'd be kind of like world.
bro, that
Yeah,
was
a
that
little
was
bit.
like a shocker for at least 2 years to even want to give in to anything. Like,
Right.
nah, I'm good. I'm not subscribing with my left hand. We don't know how to use that.
Right.
I'm good. From a fork, like coming in
Right.
weird, to just writing and signing your name for a bank check. Bank checks were real back then. I'm a little bit older, than my parents. But anyway, yeah. So from there, I got into just different things that maybe I shouldn't have, maybe a little bit of trouble here and there, but I was still, working person. I had a year where I went through like 60 jobs,
Okay.
quitting every other day.
Sure. Like trying it out, be like, nah,
Not even to
Bouncing.
try it out. I thought I was going to like construction, but I found out I didn't like
it's awful.
construction.
I did that for a couple years.
And I thought I was like painting, and I don't like painting. I
Yeah.
thought I'd like being a service tech. I didn't like being I thought I'd like being a car salesman. I
Yeah.
didn't like, and I tried all kinds of things, and I got into a couple of bad things as well, and a couple of people pass away here or there. They were close to you, and things just start hitting home. And then I had a kid, and just started realizing that life is pretty precious. And years later, I got a job where I was working 120-hour weeks for this organization, 7 days a week. The HR lady's like 3 years in. She's like, you've only clocked out and not worked 31 times in 3 years. And if you take a Saturday, Sunday, and you go to 52 weeks, that's 104 days that you should have off a year in itself, let alone holidays. And you haven't clocked out but 31 times in 3 years. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine,
Yeah.
I'm going. Anyway, the whole time I tell myself, and I didn't have these at the time, but I just tell myself it's just traffic jam. If I put in the work today, my kid's going to have a better future tomorrow. I'll be able to afford the house that I'm looking at. I'll be able to buy the car that I've been dying to have. I'll be able to get the things that I want, but I'm sacrificing today, and I get that. Anyway, things got better work-wise. I worked less hours and such, and I was able to utilize some of the funds to buy cool cars like an RS7. I got into the car community. I started going through some life changes that were really tough at home, with separation and such, and divorce, and walking away from some of the things that I then just worked my ass off to purchase. And it hit me, and I saw a counselor, and he's like, dude, what's keeping you going? And I says, I just keep telling myself traffic heavy. And he's like, what?
Yeah. The mantra. It was like a mantra that you were telling yourself. Pretty much.
It was. That's
Yeah.
all it was. And I tell myself traffic heavy and the metaphor in mind. But the counselor's like, what the hell is traffic heavy? I'm curious, genuinely curious. And I says, I just tell myself the road of life has heavy traffic. And right now I'm working all these heavy hours. I'm going through this at home, and it's just a traffic jam. And at the end of every traffic jam, open roads wait, and those keep happening for me. And he's like, what do you mean by open roads? This is pretty powerful right now. And I'm like, open roads. Like a couple weekends ago, I was down and out, and I was depressed for 90 days. I haven't worked for so long, and I haven't gone out to a car meet, and I haven't done shit. And I've been really kind of depressed here at home. And I ended up going down to Vegas over the weekend, and I flew in one of those helicopters around the city. And I can't believe that I stuck it out for those 90 days to enjoy that moment of life. And I'm kind of astounded by that. And so I feel like at the end of my traffic jams, there's something always waiting.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, that's so powerful. Will you take that and go to a car meet with it and tell people?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And that was my counseling session for the night. And he kind of led me to share that with others.
That's cool. I feel like you always have to remind yourself that even though times suck now, there's always like something better at the end afterwards. Like there's always something that made it worth it at the end of it, even if it's a long stretch, like a year long, or if it's a couple weeks or a day.
Bro, you don't know
there's
how
always
long the
something.
traffic jam's gonna last.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get into one, it seems like you're gonna be late for work, and it clears in a second.
Yeah.
And other times you get into it, and you're late by an hour to work. 4 hours going through a canyon or something. 10 hours. I don't know how long your traffic jam is, but I'm old enough to know that I speak from experience that, and even if you're 20 years old and up, there's always been a good day somewhere.
Yeah, it's worth sticking it out.
Yeah.
But I feel like people wallow in those because those are what stand out so much. Like if you're on a long commute, where you were stuck was like what, like just sticks with.
There's not a good song on the Pandora or Spotify. There's not a good anything. You end up sometimes an hour long of just frustration.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I said, years plus, but then
years plus when we're talking about life. Yeah.
Yeah. But you just never know what things will come at the end of it. Or even you might even look back on it and be happy that you had that traffic jam, that you had that delay in ways, because you see the lessons that it taught you,
the lessons you learn
along the way.
It can be, they say you can't experience happiness. Some people say this if you don't know what, sadness is.
100%.
And that's all there is to it when you live and learn, and you're stuck in those moments, and you're in the brighter path years later, maybe even.
Yeah. You can't appreciate the open road,
Hold on. And you're like, where I'm never going to be again? I might get down, but I'm never going to allow myself to get that down again.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy feeling to have eventually. But sometimes when you're down, all you can think is, I'm down, and everybody just keeps handing me one after another, and I can't take no more. And it gets tough. And so, that's where traffic heavy kind of came about and established through the years now, is kind of things like, as I represent a mental health advocacy, I have people reach out, and for years I didn't know what to say except for just try to talk back in comfort. But we do get depressed. There's a lot of depression out there. I think that's real. It's valid. I think it's something that all of us experience at one point or another. Yeah. We're sitting in a room with a car owned by a gentleman who, from most people's perspective, probably see a very happy guy. Who I don't doubt has probably had some dark nights, right? And he'll probably attest to that, but we don't have to say names or anything by all means. But the point is we've all had it. It's okay, and we've experienced it. And I'm grateful that the nation offers that 988 phone number,
right?
But then give to people and say, hey, look, I can't push you to do it, I wish you would do it. People are chill. They're ready to talk to you.
Yeah.
But I'm not experienced or licensed or professional enough to know what to do in those situations except for try to pitch
Mhm.
comfort, support, an
Yeah.
ear, and a phone number where somebody can talk to you back and give
Right.
you some real advice.
Yeah, and that I always have to try to remember too that everybody's struggles are relative too. Like even though like you could
Yeah.
go through like the worst thing, like I don't think anybody could imagine being like paralyzed and like losing all the stuff that you enjoy to do.
Right.
And then if someone like got into a little fender bender, that might be the worst thing that's happened to them in the last
Worst
year.
thing.
But even like, but it's so relative. Like you can't like
You can't put a weight.
you can't
to it.
wait to it. Yeah, you
You
can't
can't
compare.
say like yours isn't that bad because
Yeah.
to your point, if that's their first time in a situation like that and nothing else in their life has happened worse than that,
Yeah.
that's just as bad in their mind.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's why I always try to.
you just never know.
You just have to approach things with empathy, especially if you know someone that's like maybe more of like a nepotism baby that came from a very cush like life. Like
Yeah.
they haven't had to go through the more like if you grow up more poor, like eviction notices, like the whole
Right.
different thing. It's such a different scope, and so you just have to approach things with empathy.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways, and try to put yourself in other people's shoes and just shift your perspective a bit. Like put yourself into their perspective, and then I feel like you can help and empathize with them so much
You'd think
better.
there's a lot more out there, but I've only met a handful of people that kind of feel that way, that like their life hasn't really been affected much in a negative way. They've been very blessed, and it's like you're fortunate, and that's great. And then I see them post like a year later, like I broke my leg. Sucks.
Right.
And you know what I message every time my chance, and it says, "Road of life has heavy traffic. It's a
Yeah.
pass."
No, it'll
And then
heal.
whether they
It'll
know it
grow.
or not, then
Yeah.
that's cool. But it's just like that's my opportunity to show you. It's
Right.
not all about the worst of the worst, the depressed of the depressed.
Yeah.
It's about any situation that's kind of got you held up in.
Yeah. And again, like maybe they are like a sport athlete and like working with like their team and their friends is what brings them happiness, and that might hold them back
Right.
from doing that, and that can put people into like a deep depression.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like to get more like personal on my end, like I had a dad that was like extremely depressed and like chronically suicidal just like my whole life. And so always just trying to be able to navigate that, but then putting myself in his shoes to understand like what he was going through.
Right.
And then obviously being happy, like I went through it as a kid and like got to see that because then I can like empathize with other people and like
It's
understand
important.
like you can't comprehend the darkness that somebody's going
No,
through at a
no.
time, but the best you can do is just like try to be there when they need it.
Yep.
And it's yeah, I can never imagine being in that like as low point that I saw my dad in back in that day, but
Yeah.
you can always just try to be that
And that might be the
beacon for somebody
experience
else.
of that traffic jam is learning through others as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So you don't know what that's like. You know that something that you don't want to be.
Yeah,
And it's
100%.
motivated you perhaps, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, for
so
sure. Yeah.
yeah, it's all around us and to live and learn from ourselves. But yeah, that's basically that's the gist of it. That's what I'm all about. But go back to the social media. How does that even tie in? Honestly, just living life and these love stories or different things that I post to like tag your buddy if this or whatever. It's all out of like just making the most out of the platform that was given to us.
And it's usually a positive message being like, this is the person I
Yeah.
want to spend with this time.
Yeah.
I want to do this with you. Like
So
it's someone to
positivity.
give somebody else a reminder that they're wanted
Yeah.
and be part of
So
that.
if we're gonna waste our time aimlessly scrolling on desk scrolls and liking things that are just dumb, like some of the stuff that I post, or just I don't know if dumb's the right word, but like
Not serious.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's like just fun. Yeah.
Let's share the moments that are happiness. Is
Right.
kind of where the goal is okay. You guys like the content. I like the content. I enjoy getting the content. I thought my escape from life, my open roads was going to car shows, hosting car shows. I met you at a car show, really cool car show, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of the
Yeah.
indoor ones.
Automotive museum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lot of cool cars there.
We used to do some really cool car meets, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, the like growth existed and other things came about, and so we do different things. But the car meets wasn't actually what I was enjoying. And if you've been to any of my last ones where I host them outdoors, we do two step and flamethrowers and
Cool.
stuff. I'm all about content.
Right.
How do I show up and get best of the best? How do I hear the car? How do I see the flames? How do I watch it drift?
Right.
Or how do I get to SEMA and check out the cool shows cars that show up there,
Yeah.
the track that's outside? How can I get to California? I want to, don't knock me. I want to go, I want to go to a takeover. I want content.
Yeah.
I want content. And so when
Stuff
I'm
that you
using
know
this,
that you're interested in, that you know
right,
other
if
people
I'm
are
interested
interested
in
too.
it, I know others are interested, and I
100%.
know you all, you know, what's cool about post something like a takeover is that I'm gonna get 5,000 negative comments on there amongst the 20,000 positive comments, and it's just gonna continue, and it works in both directions, and that's fine with me.
I
But
kind of like negative interactions a bit
I love
because it spreads the
it's so
content
cool
so
when you
good.
post some of
It's
those.
nice.
It's fun, and that's part of the video in the background as well. As people are like, "What the hell does it have to do with that?" And it's like,
Right.
"Thank you." And that's my stance on it. Like, thank you
Right.
for
Right.
commenting. But
Hmm.
the goal is okay. So now I'm monetized. I make a few bucks. What do I do with that? Use that money to go get more
Yeah.
content.
And
Or
can you write it off with LLC wise tax if
yeah.
it's
So
tax income?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely bring that money in through the LLC.
Yeah.
That's not my money. It's
So yeah,
business's
tax write
money.
off.
Um, and then yeah, what we utilize that money for the business for is to provide merch. You know, it's a cost up front to be able to get into that type of realm. That's
Does the business
going.
help out with charities too, like any mental health
We do
awareness
any
ones too?
charity that we can possibly be a part of. Um, but like if I can give $100 towards something, like I'm there, I'm trying my
Mhm.
best to. But yeah, that's the goal is how does this continue to boost? And that was the point of social media, right? Of
Right.
content creator funds is
Mhm.
how do we give back to you so that you can give back to us? So
Yeah.
that's the ultimate goal. And
But even then, just knowing that you're able to not even have like a financial gain, but knowing that you're helping people and spreading a positive thing, I feel like that's such a nice trade off. Like you can benefit, but you know you're benefiting other people too. And I would
yeah,
much rather have people like get successful and have income if like I know that it's helping other people like
that's
improve their life with it in a way.
I told you something before we started this, and I'll share it again. But the positive messages that I get at times are those will boost you to go again, even if you're oh man, I posted 5 reels and all these 5 reels got 2,000 views. I'm giving up,
Right.
you know, and it's all in one day. It's a mental thing,
Yeah.
right? But and somebody does something simple as like trying to okay when people take what I post and they post it on their story, it shows me a laundry list of. I click the like button on all of those. Next, click like. Then I go and I look, and some people respond like, "You made my day for clicking like on my thing," and I'm like, "Who am I?" And
Yeah.
then I humble myself and I realize, you know what? That's super cool, and I want to do another one, and I want to post another one, and I want another positive
Right.
interaction.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you get kind of that imposter syndrome. I feel like when people get so excited that you interacted with them. Like my friend, I'm not sure if you know Hunter Clarke.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
videographer here, but he went to Canada with me to shoot that
He
RWB,
did.
and
Yes.
I like sent I just posted on our story with him, and I had all my friends being like, "Oh, you're working with Hunter Clarke? Like, what is it like? He's my favorite person." And I was showing Hunter the messages, and Hunter is a very quiet, reserved,
Really good
chill dude.
content though.
Like,
So
no,
make
amazing
sure you drop
content.
the thing like right
Like,
here.
check him out.
Okay.
Hunter is sick, but he's just dude. He's just a normal guy, like very quiet, reserved, and he's just like, "Why do people care?"
Why do
And
people?
it's
Yeah.
like he'd make amazing stuff, but yeah, it was he was getting so like red in the face when so many people were like, "Man, like Hunter's my dream person to work
Right.
with," and it's just cool.
Yeah. Why do people care? And then it's at the same time, it's like, I mean, you're out doing what you love.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why you
those
feel
people
that way.
inspired us to do what we do when we saw them doing
Right.
what they love.
And so it's like,
So
it's just an appreciation for all of that. It's like, you know,
yeah.
what, why do people care? But yeah, I care that they care. That's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's still insane. Like I'll sometimes get messages from people being like, "Your photo work inspires me," and like I,
Yeah.
or even the first episode of this podcast, I had someone message like, "All right, I'm going to get out. I'm going to start taking photos again." And I'm like, you never expect. Like I just sat down with my friend in my shed just to record something, and I'm happy that that influenced somebody to go out and start
Right.
making
Right.
something, doing something they wanted to do. But you never I would say we never create the content expecting to be inspirational because I feel like when you have like that intent, then it kind of
I
comes through.
do
Like
it
I'm
for
doing this just to
myself.
inspire people, you know? Like you make it for yourself, and we're doing this because we
If you
like
go to
it.
my like early YouTubes or when I first started social media, I was paying for photography. I was paying for videos and it was worth it to me at the time. I mean, that was all before even the business even existed. I was just out of pocket. Oh, $300 for a photo shoot for 10 photos? Sold. I don't know why,
So,
but I'm sold.
yeah,
And initially it was like, you know how cool it'd be. I grew up watching music television and BET when they actually played music
yeah. MTV
and
watching
music
actual like
videos.
music videos. Yeah,
And and it was always intrigued to me to think like, who would be like cars and get a car scene put together, go to
Mhm.
this Tupac song or to go to this
Right.
whatever. And that always went through my mind. And so I have this ability now, a few extra bucks, this RS7, I'm gonna go do some videos. So if you look at my early videos, it was just that thought of like, how do I do photography with somebody and pay somebody even to give me that level
Make
of
your
stuff.
music video that you wanted to
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
with the cool cars.
And I
Yeah.
never posted it with audio clips that were music video
Sure.
worthy is what's funny, but it was fun, and it was fun in it that
Mhm.
got me to do it. It was
Yeah,
just
it's just cool.
that's what I
But
wanted
also
to do.
cool to see like a car that you were passionate about. Like I loved yours with the green headlights and the
Yeah.
green wheels, and because that's what always made it stand out. Like
That
the
that was
R7's
cool.
a badass car, period. But
It was,
it
and
is
if
an
you knew, you
amazing car.
knew. And I pulled up with a black car with black wheels, no intrigue, next to Lamborghinis, whom
Yep.
on the freeway here we might have done, some side by sides,
Mhm.
and I kept up with Lamborghinis in
The
that car.
R7's amazing.
It
But like
was dope.
640,
They
650
come stock
horsepower
with
right now.
600 horsepower,
Yeah.
which is like 525 to the wheels, I want to say,
That's
with
still
the
so good.
equivalent
They
for
put
pound
one
of torque.
stage two tune, like
Like,
stage one tune on it.
and you're over 600 to the
Yeah,
wheels, just
easy.
like that. And it's all wheel drive, and
Right.
it handles very
Like
well.
comfortable, nice.
But I showed up, and you know what happened? I thought I was cool in that car, and I was hoping for some clout in that car. And I showed up, and all the cameras watched that Lamborghini roll in, and then they skipped my
Skip you.
car, and then
Yep.
they watched the next McLaren roll in. I was like, I was just side by side with these guys on
Right,
the
right.
interstate. How are you missing this?
Yep.
And so I thought, you know what I could do? Green headlights, the green underglow,
Yeah,
the
make it
green
pop.
wheels. And even if I couldn't then keep up because the wheels weighed 20 pounds more each, it was just like when I showed up all of a sudden, and every
You're
other
like,
camera then
yep.
still they skipped me, but every other camera then captured the RS7, and I
Mhm.
started getting tagged. And so it was a ploy to try to differentiate my vehicle
Yeah.
enough to stand out.
But it's insane what kind of, I would say, networking tool or branding tool a car is.
Right.
Like with the right one, I feel like that's what every single one of my friends that finally get into like a cooler car thing, they realize just how insane of a networking tool and how you can use it to like really influence and help people and like go to those charity events with
Yeah.
like help out the kids and stuff. And just the conduit that it is and the doors that it opens is kind of insane.
It was just an RS7, right? But
Yeah.
the invitations that I received to go to different events and things, uh, and it wasn't the car. What I realized when I got rid of the car, it was the tenacity the car gave me to show up to certain.
Right.
And when I felt that confidence to even apply myself, I was accepted. And when I got rid of the car, and I still capable of doing such, it made me realize that it was never the car, and it was
And showing up, and being
show up,
yourself,
show up, be yourself,
talk to
and
people.
talk.
You know,
Yeah,
in the network, I feel like if I would give anybody business advice, just talk to people.
right.
You never know what connection somewhere down the line, heck, even us talking 2 years ago at a meet now is here.
That's crazy.
But even I had a video on my channel about how one person that I talked to for 2 minutes 3 years ago translated to me getting like a $12,000 contract a
It
couple months
happens.
ago. And it's sort of like I can draw like a straight line. Like I talked to this guy for 2 minutes and I
Right.
got this contract 3 years later from just talking to that person. And so you just never know
That in
where that takes
itself
you.
was what drew me to hosting car shows and car meets
Mhm.
was the capability of networking to bring a kid out of his basement from playing his PlayStation, get into the thing that he loves, and even
Mhm.
if he pulls up in the parking lot and just sits out of his house for a moment, but
Yeah.
the connection
Make
that it
friends.
brings, whether a Ferrari or a Honda pulls up, of the ability for two people that are interested in something to then come together and be totally two different people and just be like, "Oh, is that a VTEC? Like, don't you own that Ferrari? Why are you talking about my car?"
Yeah.
Right? But
But
he's
it's a shared
genuinely
passion,
interested, and it's shared passion.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guess what you see 3 weeks later? You see a Ferrari and a Honda cruising
Cruising
down the
together.
freeway
Yep.
to the
No.
next meet. And it's like that's wild that happened. And so
Mhm.
given that platform to people is kind of what led me to host the car meets.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure if you know this, but I actually run the Cars and Coffee in Idaho Falls, Idaho,
Oh,
where I'm at.
nice.
So we've been doing that for about 3 years, me and my show partner Tom, and it's been cool to see it like grow from like 10 cars, and now we have probably about 70 or 80 that show
Okay.
up, and a couple hundred people. And BMW actually sponsors the show now,
Very nice.
and a couple things. So it's just cool to see it grow. But our show is stuck around because people say that it feels like a safe spot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the shows in our town get like shut down, cops
Easy.
roll up, but we've never once had a cop show up to our meet because we just don't tolerate like the negativity and
Right,
the
right.
bad stuff. And we'll be first to, if someone complains about somebody, we'll first go up to them and be like, "Hey, you're not allowed to come back
Right.
here if you're Spread
Let's set
negativity,
the
and so we just
tone.
curated to like a safe event that people can just come talk, and you
Each
have
car meet
the
has a
McLaren
tone.
owner talking to the Charger owner, talking
That's
to like
awesome.
the old classic Porsche guy, to everybody. Like it's
So
really
how
cool.
often are you guys doing those in Idaho
We
Falls?
do once a month.
Once a month in
Yeah.
Idaho Falls. Okay. Is it at the beginning of the month or
Third Saturday.
third
Third
Saturday?
Saturday of every
Okay.
month.
And do you know that I now have an Idaho car meet channel?
Do you? Okay.
So I've got about 100-ish followers in there right now.
Okay.
And I'm working with a few people that are more up Boise area.
Like, okay.
But it's just like the Utah channel if you follow,
Mhm.
where I'm not biased about where you're at in your state. I just want to promote car meets for
Sure.
people so that
Okay.
people know where to go, when to go type stuff.
Sick.
So,
Okay.
well, and
I'll
look,
connect with you.
we're connected.
We'll have to add on that
That's
because
how-
yeah,
that's
it's
how that
cool.
works.
We're not doing it right now, just winter wise. Like nobody wants to bring their cars out and stand outside for two
You think,
hours.
but, like, there's always
But-
those few guys.
But
you know,
today, right
like-
now, though, it's February and it's 60 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy right now. And it was like 45 degrees and just raining in Idaho Falls, which that never happens around this time. So I don't know what's happening. Climate change is cool.
If I'm not mistaken, it's snowed in like Seattle even.
I think so.
Washington.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah,
it's
it's some bad
weird,
weather
but it's
right
just
now.
but it's just raining here.
Just
Like all
raining.
the snow in Idaho's gone now.
Yeah,
So I don't get it.
we get no snow
weird.
this year.
So, but we usually start when we think the weather's going to start holding. So we'll probably start in March,
Okay,
going on, and we go till the weather lets us
That's
go till the
exciting.
end. So
that's exciting.
yeah,
So,
it's a cool meet. Yeah, and one of our main sponsors actually is the head of the Porsche Club America for
Oh,
that
okay.
this whole like region of
yeah,
the country too. So like he like bringing in like the kind of more high end old school Porsche community, and we're bringing in like the more tuner community, and like combining the two.
Yeah.
And have all like the performance. It's fun.
that's super.
It's fun just like mixing everybody together.
We'll chat more after and
Dude,
see how
I'm
we can
down.
connect.
It's sick. Yeah. So with the traffic heavy stuff, like you got the merch line running. So you do
Mhm.
shirts, sweaters, like bracelets too.
Yeah, I got wristbands. The wristbands are. I had a teacher, a few of them actually, as I went through school, that was like, "Oh, you forget something, wear a rubber band." And I got to the point where I was like, "Rubber bands, and which one means what?"
Right.
At some point,
Yep.
because I got a lot of things to remember, teach, but with these, it was kind of one of those like, I want to look at this and I want to remind myself when I'm having a bad day, time or whatever, slap on the wrist. That it's just a traffic jam, and those better days are
Mhm.
coming. Just slap yourself on the wrist.
You
So-
have all those silly bands when those were a thing, like the different shaped rubber bands,
No,
those
no.
shaped like animal. That was more I think happened when I was in high school,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
So I did these as a way to kind of share the message, promote, with an at on there, but
Yeah.
really just remind people that their life matters. So I started with the wristbands, worked into t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, hats, trying to do all kinds of stuff, but it's an expense behind that, and so it's kind of tough as a person who's just trying to really just promote themselves, and the message that comes behind that,
Right.
to just financially dive into all
Yeah.
this stuff. So this has been 4 years in the making.
Well, quality merch is so expensive.
tough.
It's way more than people like. Even I just make my personal clothes that have like my branding on it.
Yeah.
But even just like a sweater is like $60 to get made with like how I want it to be with
Yeah,
the nice like the nice quality. It's expensive. So
Yeah.
people might complain like, how come this is so expensive? Like, because we're making like $3 selling it.
Right. Yeah, I try to keep. So that's been part of the focus. Is I don't want to produce stuff that costs people an arm and a leg to wear. So $2, if I make that, that's great. But
Mhm. No, I agree. Like I haven't sold any merch on my end, but I've just been kind of creating it for myself.
yeah,
I mean, people have been asking like for it, but I'm like,
but it's like it's pricey.
yeah, it's expensive to do, but also shout out like I put copyrighted font on the thing. Like I
Right.
have like my logo, but it's in Porsche script, so I'm like actually legally I'm not allowed to sell it.
Okay.
So I'm like,
okay.
I'll just make it for myself and enjoy it. But maybe someday I'll
Maybe
dive into
someday,
the stuff. Maybe when I hit like 10,000 followers, a
yeah.
little
There
more
you go.
sense on it.
Be there soon.
But
I'm
at this
sure.
rate, maybe that'll be in a couple months. Who knows?
There you go.
Because people don't even think like the shipping a
Shipping
lot too.
costs
It's a
money.
ton.
There's all kinds of stuff on the back end of it. So I do have the website TraffikHeavy.com. That's where I post most of the merch.
I've been trying to do more prints, like ease into that.
Yeah.
And that's a whole complicated process on its own. But I luckily found a little tidbit if you're a photographer, there's a website called Darkroom
Okay.
that they handle everything. Like they do the printing, sourcing, like
Really?
shipping, everything, and they just take 50%.
Sheesh, okay.
So I'm like, that's cool. And
Yeah.
like the cost. So I try to keep my prints accessible, and like an 8x10 is $10.
Oh,
I
wow.
just try to keep it, but my
That's
profit
fair.
margin on that is $1.
And he does some incredible work. So
Yeah,
if
thank
you
you.
want to check out some.
Also link down below. But I only make $1
List.
per print. So it's like, it's just something I want
Yeah.
people to have like my work in the photos, especially if it's of their car.
That's the thing. Is like
And
I think everybody thinks we're out trying to make $1, and it's we are trying to
literally
make just
$8.
$1.
Yeah, just $8. Yeah.
But it's because I put a lot of efforts into doing the research to find the website, but go take the photo and to make it accessible to you was a decision that I had to make amongst myself.
But I feel like the payoff or like the feeling that you get seeing somebody having your photo or probably wearing your merch out and about is probably the coolest feeling ever. Like even in this warehouse, a photo that I took is up on the wall here. And I took that photo again, this testament to networking. I took this photo when I first met this guy 3 years ago. And now we're able to use the space and have this cool Porsche behind it. But I took that photo and it's printed on a 3-foot long canvas up on the ceiling, and it's really cool. I didn't expect that when I first walked in. I didn't know he had that. But then I'll get pictures of people like having my photos on their walls, and I'm like, that's a cool. That pays off, and it's probably cool. Just
First car meet was that I saw 7 sightings of my merch in one day, and it was the first day that I'd ever seen sightings of my merch.
7
outside of like
that's probably like so.
I done a couple of car meets and they show up there, and that was exciting, right? But to just be out in the wild, I was at ISS out in Tooele.
Yeah.
I think it was 2021, maybe 20. Yeah, it was 21 because it was 6 months after I'd launched the merch. And I walked around and I saw that guy, and that girl, and that guy.
Did even then recognize you coming up?
Oh yeah, and everybody recognized it, and it was just kind of like, wow,
it's wild, right?
Wow, like that's wild, like cool.
But you just feel proud, I bet.
Yeah.
Too, and like that message is getting spread out.
Getting spread around.
That's why one of my favorite channels I'd love to watch is like Yes Theory.
Okay.
And do you ever watch them on YouTube?
I haven't yet watched the Yes Theory. I've heard about it though.
Yeah, they're all about just positivity, getting yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Like doing just more for yourself and more for others, or even do you watch Justin 8 on Instagram, on TikTok?
No.
But he's all about like he takes every dollar he makes and he just goes to like a homeless person and like, if you had $100, what do you need? And like make sure they're all set up, get some hotel, like just
cool.
Gets them all just situated, and he doesn't do it for like he doesn't like keep the money. He just like has his merch that he just gives away, all of them, and just that type of like using your platform and the growth and spreading that positivity around it. And now all the homeless people that he is helping out that like have his logo and people know like this guy's helping out and spread that positivity and growth, and then he can help more people. And I love that.
I think that's great. I think it's awesome when people like give back and such. And I do a lot. I try to do more behind the scenes. I don't like to try to like
get the clout for posting it.
It's like you just do that as part of it, right? But I know one thing that I do in front of people to give back is when I do have my booth wherever I'm at with my booth, I have a spin wheel, and the spin wheel always gives a wristband. Some of them give a sucker and a sticker, and I always have a T-shirt or a hoodie or something on there as well. And so we're always trying to get some merch back somehow, some way to people, and that's always fun when people. And sometimes you hit like 7 T-shirts in a row, and it's just like, spin wheel, But again, doesn't matter how it got out there. It matters that it's out there.
That's out there.
If somebody sees the TraffikHeavy and they're like, oh, that's cool, what does that mean? And I've heard that from people, and they're like, oh, it opened the door for me to talk about mental health for a moment. And I was like, dude, that's what it's about.
Or even they go to the website and see the mission statement of we're here to like help you through those roadblocks and just get through and the stuff like it's cool. And I feel like doing stuff and offering more value than you expect in return, or even just doing it completely for free, is such a valuable thing that I feel like people don't do enough. Because even with this owner here, I have never once charged him for a photo shoot. I've shot with him like probably 8-9 times.
And here we are sitting
and
with this
here we are, but
Porsche.
He gives me such cool opportunities and is like such a good friend too. And always like, even with this, like we were gonna do this in a different spot, but it didn't work out. So I was just texting people, and he was the first one I texted. I was like, hey, can I use this spot? He's like, yeah, he's in Mexico right now.
That's awesome.
And he's like, yeah, cool, just open it from his phone, let us use it. And
on time too.
Yeah, like that's
perfect.
But I never want I actually don't want his money ever. It's just cool getting to interact with him, getting to work with some of the coolest cars ever. Yeah. Too, and just having a friend.
It's great. Sometimes you just take opportunities, right? And it's just what it's all about.
But not expecting the return. Just like you said, like you don't do it for the clout. The return, you do it because you want to help people.
Do it because that's what you're genuinely.
And that's what you want to do. You don't expect
the value
return.
It's
the return you want is that somebody's life is improved from.
Bro, the return could just be the opportunity to take that photo that you've been dying to have of that particular car, right?
Yeah.
Simple,
no, it's just a chance.
As could be. It's like Like, you can see that car on the freeway, but I wanted to see it with that setting.
Yeah.
Right.
But even just getting to know the person behind it too. Like, well, when I just went out to California, the shoot didn't work out, but I reached out to this guy that had a 4 Spider RS,
Uh-huh.
like a GT4 Spider. And when I asked him, I was like, do you want to shoot together? He's like, what does it cost? And I was like, it's your time. Like, I just want to
So
interact with you. I just want to get to know you, grow that network, talk to people, make new friends all around. And if you just do it, even people are surprised to find that I don't charge for actually most of my photo shoots I do.
That's awesome.
Because I just enjoy doing it. So that's also what's kept me kind of going nonstop and kind of grinding with it, because I would do it if I was doing it for free.
Right.
Because I do it for free anyway. And I feel like you'd be doing this too. Like, if you had a way to do it and you weren't making any money, you'd probably still be doing what you're doing. It's just nice that you do now.
Yeah, it's nice that I do, but it's just like it's not as astounding as you'd think, right? But it's fun. It makes it kind of.
No, you have like what, 70, 80, like a lot of, you have.
We're getting up to 70,000.
Yeah, 70,000 followers. You have everything figured out and life all done, and you're famous and all stuff. Yeah.
So try not to promote my face too much, to be honest, but sure. Yeah, I am the one behind the brand on TraffikHeavy. So
that's what I was wondering, if those people recognize you with your shirts, because I was looking through your page and you don't have a ton of
there's a
like
few
yourself on there, just a couple.
It requires me to have like an image of me as my profile picture.
Right.
But
to be verified,
Yeah. Beside of that, it's like, it's not about me. The page isn't about me.
Which sucks too, because you can't change your profile picture, and you have to like get verified if you change your profile picture. It's so annoying.
Every time.
Like, I had it once, and then I wanted to switch my profile picture, and then I had to redo it. I was like, I'm just not gonna keep paying for it. It's fine. It's cool. Nobody steals my photos much anymore. But no, one thing that I want to say, like one quote that I love that helps me get through hard times in a lot of ways. And sorry if this is coming through the microphone. I don't think it will be, but the heater is a little noisy, a little bit. So hopefully it's not coming through. But one quote I love, it's attributed to the Dalai Lama, but he says, ask yourself, can you change it? Like, can I change this? And it said, if the answer is no, then don't worry about it, because you can't change it. If the answer is yes, then change it and don't worry about it. But either way, like, don't worry yourself with it. Like, do what you can to change it, or if you can change it, then you can't.
Right.
But keep moving on. Get through that traffic jam. Find that open road, because you'll get there eventually.
Funny how hard it is for people to have that conversation with themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard, because you want to like wallow in and feel like you feel like everything's against you, but it's hard to sit there and be like, oh well, like, can I do anything about it? Or because even especially like it feels better being able to have the hard time and then having other people come in and be like, oh man, that's awful. You're able, like, kind of staying in that spot because you kind of get that support and attention from it. But also you might just feel helpless, like there's no way to get through it.
Right.
Like, I bet, especially like right when you became paralyzed, you had no vision of how that's ever going to come back, or how everything's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Did it just come back with a lot of physical therapy, or just over time, like the nerves
just kind of over time, the nerves just kind of regenerated to a certain point. It's not the funnest thing, I'll tell you that. I have where you see your foot or your arm falls asleep or whatever, the tingly feeling is 100% constant in my arm. Like that.
Like even now, still, it's
right now,
just tingling all the time. Okay.
And I've just learned over the years that that's just life.
Right.
It sucks, but if I want to sit here and dwell on the tingliness and the pain or whatever, I'm welcome to do that. That's my prerogative, and I did that for years. And then I realized if I want to, do things and get things for myself, and this was a realization I had years and years ago, is I started kind of probably telling myself TraffikHeavy. Right after my first son was born, I told myself, if you really want to do something, like, you don't have time to sit and continue to cry about your arm, because no matter how much crying I did or how much complaining that was done, or how much wish that I put into it, it never changed the next day or the next day. And so the thing that did change was my mindset to, that's a constant. Learn to live with it. It sucks. It hurts. But you still need to go get a job. You still need to go do this. You still need to go do that. And
life doesn't stop.
Life doesn't
because
stop.
You're having a bad time. But again, you ask yourself, can I change it? Answer is no.
The answer is
shift
no.
that mindset.
Shift that mindset.
And you could change your mindset.
How many years did it take me to change that mindset? I think
that traffic jam was probably long as hell.
8 years of pain and agony and sorrow for myself. Before I had the tenacity to just push forward.
Accept that this is life. I got to work with it.
You got to be strong. It's a strong it's a strength. It's a strength for sure.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. This is an awesome conversation, man. I
Cool.
appreciate it, dude. And yeah, definitely check out TraffikHeavy down there. Support this guy.
Thanks.
And
Yeah.
support the people around you and their mental health.
Support him as well. We'll put all the links. He'll put all the links and everything for you guys to go check out. But
check him out.
don't forget to hit that. What do you say on YouTube, right?
To subscribe and the notification bell. What's one last word of advice, wisdom to leave these guys with?
Oh gosh, just if you're passionate about something, just go after it. Block out some of the naysayers in your life, even if they're the closest to you. If there's something that you're genuinely passionate about, don't let people hold you back from that. Go for it.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For being here. See you guys.
Later.
Peace.